Hello, thank you for taking time out to prepare for your exams, and thank you for all of your hard work in revision. I want to share a technique that I find really helpful for making notes and for revising from those notes, which is a tried and tested technique. It's been around since the 1950s, and it was designed by a professor at Cornell University to really help students there make the most out of their studies. So the Cornell notes technique is where you take a piece of paper and you split it up into three sections. I'm going to share a picture of a computer science revision notebook that we've got prepared for Year 11 and Year 13 students, but you could do the same thing just with a piece of paper. So when I was revising for my GCSEs, I would take some notes on A4 paper and I would fold them pretty much in half and then just fold over a little bit down at the bottom so that you've got that structure of Cornell notes. And the idea is that the section on the left is where you put your cues. So that's keywords that you want to revise for, key concepts. And then you've got your notes over on this section. And then down at the bottom is where you can leave a space to summarize when you come back to it at another date. So what does that look like when you're actually revising? Well, if I take a look at a textbook, so this is a topic that a lot of students find challenging in computer science, but it could equally be something from English or biology or chemistry. If you find a keyword or a concept that you want to try and remember, my brain doesn't really retain things if I just read it, but the actual act of writing it down is quite helpful. So I might find a keyword in a textbook like ALU, and I might write down what it stands for. Sorry about my handwriting. I spend most of my time typing. Arithmetic, logic unit. And you might want to write down a description of what it does. It's the bit that actually makes the CPU perform calculations and compare different numbers. So in the Q section, you write down keywords, things like control unit, and then you write down what it actually stands for and what it does. So you end up with a big list of concepts and notes in here. And then when you come back to it the week later, the idea is you can get another piece of paper, you cover up your notes, and you can test yourself, or you can get your parents involved to test yourself, or your sister involved, or you can fold it over and put it on your fridge and test yourself while you eat your breakfast. And then when you come back to it the following week, you can perhaps cover up both your notes and your cues down at the bottom and write a quick summary to see how much you've remembered so that you can condense all of your cues, all of the keywords, and your notes, your descriptions, your definitions, your diagrams, your mind maps, anything that goes with it. So that's one way that you can use Cornell Notes. Another way that I find really helpful is if you use it alongside like self-learning tests. We use them a lot on the VLE, or you might use Seneca or quizzes or self-marking quizzes on forms, anything like that. But where you have a quiz where you get instant feedback, or a test where you get feedback from your teacher, it's great that you get so much right. That's fab. Here I've deliberately made a mistake that lots of students get wrong in computing, which is getting confused between a function and a procedure. So in lessons, or at home, if you're doing a revision quiz and you make a mistake like this, you might not want to make notes on everything you get right because you know that already, but you can be efficient and effective by just making notes on the things that you got wrong and then writing down the definitions that match them. So here a function is a type of subprogram which I said it never returns a value, but the right answer is a function always returns a value. So I'm going to make notes on those two so that I can then cover them up later and test myself and keep coming back to them. The idea of Cornell Notes is it's active rather than passive. You're not just trying to remember what you're reading. The action of writing down your keywords and your definitions is helpful. And it means that you can test yourself by covering things up, engaging parts of your brain to be involved in recall. And then later on, you're testing your long-term storage of your brain by summarizing and recapping and condensing your notes at the bottom of your page. So whether or not you use a notebook for your revision that's all laid out, or whether you just have a folder or a pad that's in the same kind of layout, I find this really helpful in trying to remember things, and I hope it really helps you too. All the best, and thank you for your hard work.